Yeah, Minister, thanks for attending the House today. And I suppose one of the reasons why I'm bringing up the concept of high-speed rail is because I've been a rail user myself for the last 7 or 8 years when I commuted from Dundalk to Dublin. There's various issues we have with our rail infrastructure in this country, and it's really good to see a renewed focus from the government, both in the programme for government and again with recent statements from Minister Ryan and indeed the Minister for Transport in Northern Ireland, Nicola Mallon, in relation to our all-Ireland economy and our view towards an all-Ireland a review of our all-island railway tracks. When you consider the concept of Dublin to Belfast is about a 2-hour and 10-minute journey if you're going well, and consider then the same whether it's Liverpool, and there's direct trains, there's about 8 direct trains between our 2 major cities on this island. Consider comparisons where you have Glasgow and Edinburgh, or you have Liverpool and Manchester, similar type distance. They have up to 30 to 40 direct trains a day. So it's really bringing this commencement debate to the House to see what are the government's plans about high-speed rail. How do we envision and how ambitious are we about introducing high-speed rail on this island? What do we see as some of the pitfalls to it? What kind of learnings can we take from high-speed rail on the European continent, in China and Japan, in Spain, some of the issues that they've faced that we can then use and take into the report that's been launched by the government. I'd be very keen to know how long that report will take. This is the All-Ireland report that was said in April of this year by both ministers. I'd be keen to know when that would happen. And in doing a bit of preparation and research for this commencement debate this morning, I spent the last day or so reading up about high-speed rail around the world. And there's so many benefits towards high-speed rail. You know, clearly enough, there's environmental benefits. High-speed rail is comfortable, it's safe, it's flexible. Most importantly, it gets people out of cars. It provides a much safer, more transport alternative as well. The other issue about it is economic viability. And the concept is sometimes around the world that high-speed rail is just a kind of a money pit. But that's not the case. It has shown profitability across the European continent. And again, in Japan, which was the birthplace of high-speed rail in the 1960s. Most importantly, it creates jobs. It creates a huge stimulus boost to local economies when you come along, you're building high-speed rail. I think that's a really important thing to bear in mind. And naturally, there's energy savings associated with it. But when we just look at a comparison of some of the countries in the world, like if we look at China, China have 26,800 kilometres in high-speed rail, Spain 3,100, Japan 3,041, France 3,220, Germany 3,038. High-speed rail performs a fast, reliable mode of transport. And if we are to be really serious about our climate commitments, if we are to be very serious about the targets that we've set for both 2030 and 2050, high-speed rail has to play a part on this island of Ireland. And for me, that goes from Belfast, Dundalk, Dublin, and then Dublin on to Cork. So I'd really just like to get an outline from you and the government what our views are on high-speed rail, where we see it going and what we hope to achieve with it.
Thank you. Minister, you have 4 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you very much for raising this matter, Senator McGahon. On behalf of my colleague, the Minister for Transport, I thank you for the opportunity to address this issue in the House today. This government is committed to a fundamental change in the nature of transport in Ireland, and as the Senator is no doubt aware, the Minister for Transport is a firm believer in the positive potential of increased and expanded sustainable transport options and the potential role for rail in that regard. Minister Ryan has announced the All-Ireland Strategic Rail Review, which will be conducted in cooperation with Northern Ireland's Department for Infrastructure. This review will examine all aspects of inter-urban and inter-regional rail on the island of Ireland, including, of course, the Dublin to Belfast line. As committed to in the New Decade New Approach Agreement, the review will consider the potential for high and higher speed rail across various corridors, including the Dublin to Belfast line, and examine how to improve regional rail connectivity. The review will also consider the potential for rail freight on the island of Ireland and examine the rail network's connections to our international gateways, our ports and airports. Another area of particular focus for the review will be examining the potential of rail to better connect the northwest with the rest of the island. I am informed that the review has just commenced and will be completed by this time next year. I understand Ministers Ryan and Mallon held a joint ministerial meeting with the consultants recently, and both ministers are hugely enthused about the review. When completed, this review will provide the strategic backdrop to investment in our inter-urban and inter-regional rail network for the next 20 years or more, and will be a hugely important piece of work. In the coming months, there will be a public consultation process as part of the review, and I would encourage everyone to make their voices heard during that process. However, the review is not the only area where departments North and South are cooperating. As part of the development of the European Union's new Peace Plus programme, the Department of Transport, in cooperation with their northern colleagues in the Department for Infrastructure, submitted a proposal to expand and replace the existing enterprise fleet on the Dublin to Belfast line. This project is the largest single project included within the draft Peace Plus programme. And earlier this year, the Special EU Programmes Body proposed an indicative allocation of €165 million towards the project, which makes up almost 18% of the entire Peace Plus available funding over the period to 2027. The project will see the enterprise fleet completely replaced and expanded and facilitate a move towards an hourly service, which I know will be welcomed by all who live along the route. The final Peace Plus programme is yet to be approved by the European Commission. However, I understand there is optimism that the strong support shown from both departments and the Special EU Programmes Body should assist with the project being included in the approved programme. The timelines of that programme mean that, if included, we should see that new and expanded fleet on the network by 2027. I look forward to hearing the Senator's views on what I hope we can agree are exciting developments in the context of North-South transport infrastructure. The longer time framework to be established by the All-Ireland Strategic Rail Review provides an opportunity for us to collectively develop a vision for rail's potential on this island, while the shorter-term investment planned in new enterprise fleet will enable more and more people to choose sustainable options while travelling between the two largest cities on the island. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a really excellent response from the Minister, and thank you for taking that to the House today. The 2 points I'd point out is that we want to move towards an hourly service. Yeah, that's exactly what we want to do. And that's why it's so important that we have the review on inter-regional rail as well, because from your own constituency in North Dublin, the issue with the rail coming from Belfast, Newry, Dundalk and Drogheda is that the amount of commuter trains that then would start in, say, Laytown, Bettystown, Balbriggan. And the problem is early mornings with commuter trains. It's those commuter rails in the North Dublin, South Meath area that block up the train line that then slow down the intercity rail at the moment. So it's about trying to resolve that issue as well in the whole wider context of this review. And if we can resolve that, and one of the ways by doing that is through high-speed rail, then it would make the issue easier for everyone involved. And the final point about this is, this isn't just about providing faster commuter times from places like Dundalk or Drogheda into Dublin. It's about going the opposite way as well. We have very good companies and good jobs in the northeast, and if we can provide high-speed rail, we can attract people from Dublin out of our cities to live in our regions, and that's the most important thing behind this whole debate.
Minister.
Thank you. And again, on behalf of my colleague, the Minister for Transport, I'd like to assure the Senator that the potential for high-speed rail between Belfast, Dundalk and Dublin will be fully considered as part of the Strategic Rail Review. As mentioned earlier, and rather uniquely, this Strategic Rail Review will be conducted on an all-island basis in full cooperation with our colleagues in the Northern Ireland Executive, and will provide a holistic overview of the potential of rail, not just on this particular corridor, but on the island. Importantly, it will also identify how we move our inter-urban and inter-regional rail services off fossil fuels and towards a decarbonised future, as we must by 2050. Having recently announced Arup as the successful consultant, work has now commenced on what promises to be a very important piece of work, and particularly so for the Belfast-Dundalk-Dublin rail corridor. But the Senator should be assured that in the meantime there will continue to be investment in the rail network on this corridor, be it through the previously referenced Peace Plus programme or indeed the DART Plus programme, which includes electrification of lines and services north of Dublin to Drogheda. In conclusion, it should be noted that an important element of new projects in the years to come, including any developing of the Dublin to Belfast line and services, will of course be the revised allocations, as will be set out in the new National Development Plan. And in this regard, the Strategic Rail Review will act as an important framework to take forward new projects in the year to come. Thank you.